Hello, 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 everyone. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to the Central Florida Consortium Virtual College Fair powered by StriveScan. My name is Sibel. I will be your facilitator for this evening's session. I am super, super excited to introduce some of these universities for you all. They have some amazing information to share. They're all so awesome in their own way, but I do want to preface tonight's virtual college fair by saying this is just an appetizer. Okay, so they all have just a few minutes to tell a little bit about themselves, but there is so much more to learn about each and every one of these colleges and universities. So please take some notes, take down some contact information, ask some questions. It's all going to be a really fun time, but there is a lot more information out there. So don't forget to do your due diligence afterwards. All right, so before we get started and I introduce my first university, just some housekeeping items here that we have to talk about really quickly. Yes, this is a virtual college fair, but it is set up in a webinar format or webinar style. What that means is that you are muted and your video is turned off as an attendee. So the panelists cannot see or hear you, but you're probably wondering, well, Sibel, how do I answer or get all my questions answered? How do I ask them? Well, that in and of itself is a great question. If you look at your Zoom toolbar, somewhere towards the middle of that Zoom toolbar will be a Q&A button. You will go ahead and click on that Q&A button and use that Q&A button to type your questions to the presenters at any time. So when I mean at any time, I mean truly at any time. Please, you have about 45 minutes to ask those questions. So please use that 45 minutes wisely and do not wait until the last minute. Again, do not wait until the last minute to ask those questions. Okay. Now, tomorrow is also part 2 of this consortium or virtual college fair. So I highly recommend to sign up for another session. Check out the schedule on the website. This is one out of many college presentations. And again, part 2 is tomorrow night. So go ahead and sign up for tomorrow night's session as well. Now, maybe mom didn't get to check out this session with you, or maybe you have a friend that's interested in these colleges and universities too, or honestly, maybe you just want to relive the fun with us, and that's totally fine too. A recording will be available. All sessions are recorded and they will be available at strivescan.com/Central Florida. All right, without further ado, I'd love to get started. First up, we have The Ohio State University.
Starting my time now. All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you all for being here. My name is Antonio Serrano. I'm here to talk to you in a brief 6 minutes about The Ohio State University. I am based here in Florida, and I will be your dedicated admissions counselor. So if you're interested in Ohio State, you know you have a local guy here who can walk you through the process, and so you don't miss any opportunities that are available to you at OSU. Now, at Ohio State, we are one of the largest and most comprehensive universities in the world. And a little bit about that is we're going to talk today about what that might mean for you as a student and the benefits that will bring to you as a student at Ohio State. At Ohio State, you will be surrounded by some of the most talented minds inside and outside of the classroom. Your peers will most likely be forward thinkers, and your faculty professors will be engaged. This is going to lead to a really robust and rigorous experience at one of the strongest public universities in the country and across all of the academic areas. So while people often think of Ohio State as a research university, and that's definitely a distinction that we're proud of, we are also known as one of the top undergraduate teaching institutions. So what does this mean for you? Imagine that your professors are not just teaching from a textbook, but they are leading major research projects, and that'll lead its way back into the classroom. And this is research that's happening all over the globe. Those professors will end up being your mentors and will help you find your first career or help you get into grad school. So this really benefits our undergraduate population at Ohio State. So the advantage of a school like Ohio State is that we have the resources and the programs to take your education much further and deeper than other schools can. Now, let me talk a little bit about that. With over 200 majors and over 500 minors, there is literally nothing that you can't study at Ohio State. And you can do it in a major way. So we hope that you are looking for, I know you're in this presentation with a lot of big universities, and so we won't let you down in that regard. Now, we have some amazing opportunities at Ohio State. Our Moral Scholarship Program is one of our premier and arguably the largest diversity scholarship in the United States. It does cover all 4 years of your out-of-state tuition. So if you are interested in diversity-based leadership, social justice, and you've done things in high school to support this, please check out our Moral Scholarship Program. We also have an honors and scholars program for those of you who are looking for a more advanced rigor in their curriculum. And then the scholars program for those of you who are looking to be in a cohort of students that are interested in the same sort of things that you are. One of the biggest assets to The Ohio State University is our location. We are located in the 14th largest city in the United States, the #1 largest city in the state of Ohio, second largest city in the Midwest, Columbus. Columbus is an amazing town. It really is a great playground and a launching pad for you as a student. This downtown picture that you see on the screen is literally 10 minutes away from campus. So you really do get the best of both worlds, a traditional, fully resourced, traditional all-American university experience, but 10 minutes away, you have this wonderful city to call home. Now, here's a quick little reference about where we are. We are in the center of the state of Ohio. And so from South Florida, from Central Florida, you're looking at just under 1,000 miles away. So it would be a flight from Orlando, Tampa, South Florida to get to Columbus, but we're only 10 minutes away from the John Glenn International Airport. As you can see on this map, we are only 10 minutes north of downtown and our really fun arts and entertainment district called the Short North. So Columbus is also really known for its social justice and its diversity. So we have a perfect score on the LGBTQ+ index. We have a really amazing food scene. We're home to several Fortune 500 companies. And so this is an amazing place to be a young person with all maintaining a pretty relatively low cost of living. So you can afford life in Columbus on a student budget. Now, one of the things that's also something that a lot of our students look at us for is our school spirit, the traditions that we hold at Ohio State. Once you are a Ohio State Buckeye, you are a Buckeye for life. This is something that will last with you for the rest of your life. We have over 600,000 living alumni all across the United States, and they are waiting and ready for you to graduate so they can open some doors for you. There's nothing like being in the Ohio Shoe, which is our stadium here with over 100,000 screaming Buckeye fans. With the best damn band in the land, our marching band that really pumps us up. And of course, Brutus the Buckeye, who comes out to rally the troops and bring on the wins. So the application process, let's talk about that briefly because it's a pretty streamlined application process. We are solely on the common application. We require your transcripts from your high school. We will be test optional again for 2023. Those are the only 3 things that you need to submit to Ohio State. That deadline you see on the screen there, November 1st. If I didn't get anything across except that deadline, I'd have done a good job. November 1st is when you want to apply to any of your schools that you're thinking about. Early action is going to set you up for merit-based scholarships. It's also where we admit about 80% of our incoming freshman class. Merit scholarship is pretty robust at Ohio State. For freshmen coming from out of state, our minimum scholarship is $54,000. That's a $13,500 baseline scholarship, which is also stackable with other awards that we have. So we are pretty generous with our merit-based scholarship, as well as grants and need-based aid that you might be eligible for. I have about 17 seconds left. I'm going to use every second I have. So if you'd love to learn more about Ohio State, there are some great things for you. I also put a link in the chat. And please engage with me. I'm going to be on for the next 45 minutes. I'd answer all your questions through the Q&A. Thank you all for your attendance, and God bless you.
All right, thank you so much. If you have any questions for The Ohio State University, please put it in the Q&A. Next up, we have Auburn University.
Hi, everybody. My name is Haley, and I am the Auburn University Admissions Advisor for the state of Florida. So I would be your point of contact for any questions that you have about Auburn. I am located here in Auburn, so if you have a chance to come and visit campus, I would be happy to meet with you. I also do travel to Florida, so I would be able to maybe meet you at your high school too. But I'm going to go ahead and get started. with the presentation. So Auburn is located in Auburn, Alabama, which is a small college town. It's in East Alabama. You can see it here on the map. It's about an hour and a half away from the Atlanta airport. So the closest place to fly in and out of. We do have campus tours. So I would love for you to come and visit campus. And downtown Auburn is right off campus. So you can walk from the university to downtown. It is literally right there. It all flows really well together. It's actually kind of hard to tell sometimes whether you are on campus or off campus because it's all right here together. And downtown is a very quaint, charming downtown area with a lot of really fun local shops and restaurants. So it is a really fun place for students to live. One thing about Auburn is that we are very rich in tradition. So there are a lot of things that really make Auburn unique. Pictured here is one of my personal favorite Auburn traditions, the rolling of Toomer's Corner. Basically, after any Auburn win, fans and students will gather at Toomer's Corner to celebrate that by rolling the trees with toilet paper. You'll see this often after football games. Recently, this has also happened a lot after basketball games, which is really fun for students and just the Auburn community in general to get to gather together to celebrate. I mean, we are known for being the Auburn family. So just for really having a sense of community on campus and this being something that lasts well beyond a student's 4 years. So this is something that I really, really love about Auburn. Probably my favorite thing is just the family-like feel that we have here. So we have 12 different colleges on campus, over 150 different majors. Our largest colleges on campus are our College of Engineering, College of Business, and College of Liberal Arts. But we are known for a lot of our other majors and programs as well. And students get lots of practical hands-on experience within their program. I will also say, if you do not know what you want to do, that is totally fine. Auburn has a lot of options and a lot of resources for helping students and figuring that out as well. So it is so okay if you are still unsure about what you want to major in. There's a lot of really great opportunities at Auburn. So our student population is about 30,000 total students, with about 24,000 being undergraduate students, around 4,900 freshmen. One thing that I think is pretty unique about Auburn is that we are not looking to grow in terms of student population as a university. So we really like the size that we are right now, and we are planning on staying this size. And the reason for that is that Auburn is known for having a small town feel on campus, but with all the opportunities that come from being a larger public university. So you're really not going to be able to walk across campus without running into someone else that you know. It definitely has that small town feel. You're going to see familiar faces, but you also have the opportunity to go to a football game with 87,000 other people, or to join one of our over 500 on-campus student organizations. So there are a lot of ways for students to get involved. And you can also see on here that even though we are a large university, 80% of our classes do have less than 40 students. So you really do, within your program at Auburn, you get to know the professors, you get to know the other students, and that is something that I also really appreciate about Auburn. So now to talk a little bit about our application process for 2023, and I will say we have not finalized our admissions process for next year, but our application typically opens in August. We will have more information available over the summer about exactly what to expect, but it is a very straightforward process this year. It is just an academic review. So all you have to submit is your transcript, your ACT or SAT scores, and we also were test optional this year as well. I will say I don't know exactly what next year will be like, but we do prefer that students submit test scores. So as you have the opportunity, I encourage you to be working on taking the ACT and SAT, and I encourage you to come to campus. Right now, there's not a whole lot you can do other than taking the test and coming and visiting campus, and so that is something that I definitely encourage all of you to do. And then like I said, my name is Haley and I am your point of contact. So I would love to talk to you and help answer any of your questions, and please do be asking them in the Q&A and I'll be answering them tonight. If you have any questions, please do reach out to me at any point. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. If you have any questions for Auburn University, please put it in the Q&A. Next up, we have Clemson University.
All right, everyone, thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Morgan Rutland. I am an undergraduate admissions counselor for Clemson, and I do cover the state of Florida. And we are going to talk about some of the resources available for our Clemson students, as well as the admissions process. So Clemson is located in the upstate of South Carolina, and we're very much that college town. We have a little over 20,000 undergraduate students on our campus, and this map will show you where those students are coming from. So primarily East Coast, and then moving out from there. And it's a pretty even male-female split on our campus as well. Even though Clemson falls in that medium to large size university, we do try to keep our class sizes as small as possible. The average class size is about 30 to 32. And only 5% of all of the classes on our campus are going to be in that bigger lecture hall environment. And typically, that's more your general education class than any of your major specific courses. We also offer a couple of fast track degree programs. So you may already know that you want to pursue a master's degree. If there's a fast track program, you can start working on that graduate level coursework as an undergraduate student and complete both of those degrees in a much shorter amount of time. We're also very thankful to have one of the top career services in the country, and they help our students with things like finding internship and co-op opportunities. They hold career fairs every single semester. We have a 96% employment rate, and that means 96% of Clemson grads within 6 months of graduation are either already employed or have plans to continue their education. And the Career Center is really helpful with helping you write your resume, prepare for those interviews, things like that. You want to know that this degree you're about to work so hard for translates into whatever you decide to do next. And that 96% employment rate is a huge success factor of that at Clemson. We also want you to have fun and get involved while you're on campus, and there is a little something for everyone. So whether that be over 550 clubs and organizations, including Greek life and club and intramural sports, over 19 Division I athletic teams, whether it is in the fall and it's football season and you're cheering on your Tigers with 80,000 of your closest friends and family, or it's basketball, baseball, softball season, whatever that might be. We're really thankful to be right in between the Blue Ridge Mountains and Lake Hartwell. So it's a really beautiful place to get to spend the next 4 years. Here you can see a list of all of the majors that we have to offer at Clemson, broken up by the different colleges. Our College of Business and College of Engineering are very popular, but some of our most popular majors are going to be mechanical engineering, management, biology, nursing, psychology, just to name a few. Now to move on to some of the admissions materials. So this is an outline of our dates and deadlines. Our applications open August 1st, and every student that submits their application by December 1st and has everything else in by December 31st is guaranteed to hear back from us in February. There are a couple of different applications. We don't have a preference for one over the other. After you submit your application, you can log into your applicant portal and see a lot of different things, like when we've received your materials, and this is how you'll receive your admissions decision. Other than that application, the only other two things you have to submit is a self-reported academic record and make a decision about test scores. We are test optional, so student is welcome to decide not to submit those test scores. It is completely up to whatever you're comfortable with. And from that information, some of the primary factors we take into consideration are your weighted GPA, your class rank if offered, your rigor of courses, those test scores, if you're deciding to submit those. Your choice of major plays a part in our decision-making. Our application will ask you to choose 2 choices of major. Residency plays a part, and then any additional optional materials you've decided to include. We don't require essays, letters of recommendation, interviews, things like that. But if you decide to submit those, we can use that in your specific review. And here is a snapshot of our freshman profile. We get about 47 to 50,000 applications a year to enroll a class of about 4,500. And there you can also see our middle 50% for test scores. That's just a good middle ground to shoot for, but we do not have minimums. And that is all for me. Thank you guys for joining, and please put any questions that you have about Clemson in the Q&A.
Awesome. Thank you so much. If you have any questions for Clemson University, please put that in the Q&A. Next up, we have University of Maryland.
Excellent, thank you. So again, my name is Orlando Fleming. I'm the Southeast Regional Coordinator at University of Maryland, College Park. Actually based in Florida, in Port St. Lucie, so I'm a few hours away from where everybody is connected today. Talk a little bit about the University of Maryland. We are a state flagship institution, so research-based, located in College Park, Maryland, about 8 miles northeast of Washington, D.C. And so with that, you have about 30,000 undergraduate students, Division I, Big Ten athletics, just like a couple of the other colleagues connected on here today. And then over 800 different clubs and organizations you could take advantage of as a student. So that's just us really in a snapshot. I'm not going to talk too much about the numbers and everything. They tend to blend together, especially being the last session of the evening and also with other great institutions connected in this session. So I really just want to talk about why Maryland and what really students from Florida are looking for when they do come to Maryland, what catches their eye. One of the things that is popular for students coming from Florida is our location. So being right there 8 miles outside of Washington, D.C., it's the world's most powerful city. So you have opportunities there for internships, research opportunities, and even faculty that teach classes are some of the best in the nation that you're able to learn from. So it makes for a unique experience for you to be able to take advantage of, academically speaking, and then even socially. So you have opportunities. If you just want to relax and enjoy the arts and entertainment, you have the Smithsonian Museum, you can do so. You go about 30 minutes north of us, you can go to Baltimore, which has the National Aquarium and the National Harbor. And so you do have opportunities there, athletic related as well. If you enjoy sports, you have professional teams in the area that you can kick back and relax. And that's if you're not enjoying some of our Big Ten athletics. And so that's a little bit about what students tend to be drawn to, especially when you think about some of the more popular majors on our campus, like government and politics, journalism, engineering, biological sciences, and computer science. So they really are attracted to the DC area. Outside of that, I want to share a little bit about what it takes to become a Terp. And so what we are looking for, first of all, it is very important you apply no later than November 1st of your senior year. That is our early action deadline, and that really is going to be your best consideration overall for entry into the university. Also your best consideration for direct entry into some of our more competitive majors. As an out-of-state student, we do have merit-based scholarships you'd be automatically considered for as long as you apply for admission by November 1st. Same thing with some of our special programs like our honors and scholars programs. Again, automatic review for those, no separate application needed. As far as our review, what we're looking for, of course, there's about 26 different factors, and all of which are public factors on our website that you can look at, but 26 factors in a holistic review. So what that means is we're going to look at a variety of things, not just numbers on a piece of paper. And so out of those 26 factors, about a third of them are academic based. So we are going to look at your transcripts. We're looking at your letter grades, your rigor, trends within the classes as well. So we're looking at freshman, sophomore, junior year grades. If you decide to submit your test scores, we will take them. We are test optional. So for juniors, there's no need for you to submit test scores. If you decide to do so, I'll share a couple different ranges for you. So pre-pandemic, before everything went test optional, we were about a 1330 to a 1480 mid-range on the SAT, and then ACT about a 30 to a 34 mid-range. Once the pandemic kicked in and we went test optional, of course, test scores jumped up a little bit. But why did it do so? Because those with the higher test scores tended to submit them to us. So the mid-range was right around a 1380 to a 1530. Again, a little bit higher because the higher test scores are submitted, around a 31 to a 35 mid-range for the ACT. Grade-wise, mainly A's and B's, seldom if any C's, and that was even more true this past year. We had 55,000 students apply for our early action deadline, and there were very few that were admitted for fall with any C's on their transcripts. And so there is a spring entry we could review you for as well. If there were C's, we would like to see an explanation, no pun intended with that. The other factors that we're looking at, we're going to look at your written expression of thought, which is your essay. We're also going to look at some other factors like race and ethnicity, where you're coming from in the United States. Also look to see if English is a second language for you, and even if you're first generation, or maybe you're the child of a Terp. And so all of these different factors together will help us make our final decision and release our decision for early action by February 1st. So that is us in a nutshell. Feel free, I'll share my contact information in the chat for you all to be able to reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to answer any additional questions for you, but thank you for your time, and go Terps.
Awesome. Thank you so much. If you have any questions for University of Maryland, please put it down in the Q&A. All right, next up we have Penn State University.
Hi, everyone. I'm Katie Immel. I am the admissions counselor for the state of Florida, so I am your contact. Again, we only have a few short minutes, so I'm going to try and keep everything pretty high level, but I'm happy to answer any questions via chat. I will share my email as well, so feel free to contact me through email. You'll probably get a better answer than my quick typing skills tonight. What you're seeing is an overview of our University Park campus. So I always have this playing just in the background so you can kind of see what our campuses look like. Penn State is a top 1% ranked university, best known for our undergraduate research, our hands-on learning, and really helping students find their fit. So again, this is University Park. It has about 46,000 students, but we do have 20 campuses spread out throughout the state of Pennsylvania. I'll talk about all of those a little bit later in this presentation. I always do say that Penn State really boils down to three things: high quality academics, a vibrant student life, and of course, many unique opportunities. I'm going to go ahead and get started with academics. We have over 275 different academic programs to choose from: business, engineering, nursing, pre-medical fields, liberal arts, and everything in between, I always say. One of my favorite majors is our undecided. A lot of schools have it. I truly think that if you're 16, 17, 18 years old and you don't know what you want to do with the rest of your life, that's okay. Come in undecided. We have professionals that will help you figure out exactly what you want to do, what you're passionate about, and what you're good at, and we're going to find the right major for you. We also have over 1,200 clubs and activities. So they range from purely fun to purely academic, social, religious, cultural organizations. Basically, you're going to be able to find your fit and find a good area for you, not only to be really passionate about something that you've always enjoyed, but also to find something new that you've never tried before, because that's really what college is getting out there and experiencing life. So at Penn State, you're going to be able to do that pretty much anywhere you want to go. All of these things are available at all 20 of our beautiful, unique campuses. So they are spread out throughout the state of Pennsylvania. This map is a little more helpful to explain them, but you'll, as an out-of-state student, kind of want to focus on the blue dots with the little orange Monopoly house. Those are our campuses with on-campus housing. So as an out-of-state student, it's important. It's a little bit easier as you transition out of state, but you can go to any of those campuses. They do have housing available for pretty close. As I mentioned, University Park is smack dab in the middle. That's the one with 46,000 students. It tends to be the campus that we get most applications for. So it is our most competitive campus, but no matter where you start or finish, it's all the same education. So a lot of students feel like 46,000 students is a lot and it's a really big campus, and it really is. So we do have campuses that are much smaller. Some are as small as 500, some are as big as 5,000. So you can really find your fit. And if you always wanted to be in a school by a big city, we do have some by Philadelphia and by Pittsburgh, which are two larger cities in Pennsylvania. Quickly, what we need for you to apply is an online application. Next year, we're going to 2 applications: our Penn State application and, of course, the Common App. So most students do apply through the Common App. We have no preference. Our only preference is that you do submit that application at the end. We also need your self-reported academic record. This is where you get your transcript from your high school, input all the classes and the grades you receive from grades 9th, 10th, and 11th, as well as your schedule for grade 12. We make it a rule not to look at your senior year grades for admission, but don't worry, we will review them afterwards, so you still want to be doing really well. Those are the only 2 things that are required for all applications next year. We are test optional, which basically means you get to decide if you're going to submit your SAT or ACT scores to us and have them as part of your review, or you just want to base most of your decision on your academic profile. So the classes you took, the rigor of those courses, and how well you did in them. It's completely optional. Whatever you choose is what we're looking for. So if you do include them, we're not going to complete your application until we receive them. If you've decided to go optional, even if you send us your scores, we're not going to review them. You can see all of this and more on your My Penn State profile. These are really the only things that we require, although we do encourage a personal statement. It does always help if we're right on the brink of a decision. If you're trying to estimate your eligibility, this chart is semi-helpful. This is our middle 50%. You're going to notice that University Park numbers are higher. Again, that comes down to simple supply and demand. We have more application in University Park, so it becomes more competitive. But at the same time, again, it's the exact same education no matter where you go. You can always do our 2+2, start at one of the other campuses, and then finish at University Park for your degree. Last but not least, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't talk about our amazing alumni network. We do have the largest alumni network with 700,000 and growing. We always say the fun fact is that 1 out of every 106 Americans with a college degree is a Penn State grad. And if you're anything like me in high school, you're thinking good, great, grand, what does that mean to me? It basically means that we have a lot of alumni out there showing off what a Penn State education can do. They are showing that we get great hands-on learning, that you're actually learning the industry standard and the future because of how much research we're doing. But my biggest point is that Penn Staters like to hire Penn Staters. So when we are out there, we want to hire our future Penn Staters to keep those doors open. We're actually the #5 school for best prepared graduates. So that's a really exciting opportunity, especially when you're looking for internships and jobs. Employers know the name of Penn State, not just in the United States, not just in Pennsylvania, but all across the world. So go to our experience page. You can find out more about Penn State, how to apply, and how to become a Nittany Lion. My email's on there, but I will also put it in the chat. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much. If you have any questions for Penn State University, please put it in the Q&A. Next up, we have University of Central Florida.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lindsay Holland. I'm one of the Senior Assistant Directors for the Office of Undergraduate Admissions for UCF. I'm going to be taking you through a brief presentation as everyone has tonight. If you have any questions, please feel free to put those in the chat. But UCF was founded in 1963, and since then we have been nationally recognized as a best value, one of the most innovative schools. We have over 72,000 students at UCF, so we are a very large institution, and we do love our size. BIG stands for opportunities. We have more than $200 million in research funding. So if you're looking for that research institution, we are a great place for that, whether that is for undergraduate or graduate research. 1 in 4 of our Knights are the first in their family to attend college. So these are going to be our first generation students, or what we call them as our first gen Knights. And we have an office completely dedicated to our first generation students, helping you through your entire time at UCF, as well as providing different scholarship opportunities. Now, with our size, it might seem as a little bit of a surprise that our average class size is around 28 students. So this is going to be for any major courses that you have or any labs that you take. So in your first 2 years, those general education courses, they could be a little bit larger, but once you do get into your major courses, it is down to about 28 students. Now at UCF, being such a large institution, we do have a lot of different programs for students to get involved in and to study. So we have 103 undergraduate programs, whether you're looking to do biology, chemistry, engineering. We were founded as an engineering institution. We have many, many different majors to choose from. We also have 11 on-campus residential communities. So these are going to be those dormitories on campus. These range from sharing a room with one other individual and having suite mates all the way up to full-blown apartment styles on campus. So depending on what privacy you're looking for, we have many different options for living on campus. And then we have over 650 clubs and organizations here at UCF. So we have a Chocolate Lovers Club, we have a My Little Pony Club, we have sports clubs, a Quidditch team, many different ways to get involved on campus, whether that's socially or academically. We also have 16 NCAA Division I athletic sports teams. So most known is going to be our football team and our women's rowing team. So how are you going to apply? The top of the screen, you'll see our deadlines. So the deadline to apply for the summer semester is March 1st. For the fall, it's going to be May 1st for freshmen and July 1st for transfer students. And then for the spring, November 1st. But there's 4 key components to completing your application. The first is to submit either the UCF institutional application or the common application. We do not have a preference for which one you submit to us, but please only submit one. Along with that application will be a $30 application fee, and we do accept fee waivers. So if you have an SAT, ACT, NACAC, or free and reduced lunch, we can go ahead and waive that $30 fee for you. And then the next item is going to be that self-reported GPA. So for UCF, it's called Self-Provided Academic Record for Nights. It's a mouthful, so we call it SPARC. So this is a self-report GPA where you're putting in all of your high school credentials, 9th grade, all the way to your in-progress 12th grade. And we're looking at your academic core classes, English, math, social studies, science, and foreign language, providing additional weight to any upper level courses that you've taken. So AP, IB, ACE through enrollment, and honors classes. Now, we are not test optional here at UCF. You do have to submit an SAT or ACT score to UCF for application and admission consideration. Now, we don't have a preference for which exam you take. We do recommend that students sit for each of the exams at least once because you might perform better at one than the other. But both of these exams are super scored. But again, we are not test optional. You do have to submit an SAT or ACT for admission consideration. Now, the last item on the screen, that essay, as you can see, it is only recommended. It is not a required item. Now at UCF, we don't require, or we don't accept, I should say, letters of recommendation, or we don't provide interviews. So this is going to be the only way for us to get to know who you are outside of your academics and your application itself. So we recommend and strongly encourage students to submit that essay. So here you can see our fall 2021 freshman class profile. So this slide shows you what it means to be competitive for admission into UCF. So as you can see, we had over 40,000 students apply for the fall 2021 term. Around 14,000 students were offered admission, and then 4,200 students enrolled. Now, if you apply for a fall semester, we are automatically going to consider you for the summer before and spring after as well. So if you're applying for fall 2023, we're considering you for summer 2023, fall 2023, and spring 2024 as well. And that will be based on how competitive your academic credentials are. So the class averages in the middle of the screen are not what we find competitive for admission. While they are competitive, these are what we use for merit scholarship consideration. So if you have a GPA, SAT, and ACT around these averages or higher, then you would be competitive for one of our merit scholarships, which I'm going to go over in just a little bit. Now, the mid-range is on the bottom of the screen. That is what we find competitive for fall admission. So this is the middle 50% of the students that we brought in for fall 2021. So 25% of our students were below these ranges and 25% were above these ranges, and they were all offered admission into UCF. So GPA, that is going to be that weighted UCF GPA. So that's a 3.9 to a 4.4. SAT 1255 to 1375, and then ACT 26 to 30. Now we operate on rolling admission here at UCF, so we are reviewing applications on a daily basis all throughout the year. So once applications become available around August 1st of your senior year, you can start submitting all of your application materials to our office, and we start reviewing typically around mid to late September, and then decisions are continuously being released at that time. So I'm going to cover scholarships real quick. We do have automatic scholarship consideration for all admitted summer and fall students, and these range from about $6,000 to $42,000, and that is distributed amongst your 4 years. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us, and I will put my contact information in our chat here. Thank you all so much.
Awesome, thank you. If you have any questions for the University of Central Florida, please put them in the Q&A. Now, my panelists and presenters, if you can please join me via video. I'd love to see your beautiful faces. Hello, hello, welcome. All right, so real quick speed round. I have a question for you all. So the question is, what's one thing you want students to remember about your school? And we're just gonna go in presentation order. So with that said, The Ohio State University, I'm sorry I'm putting you on the spot, but you are first.
All right, what's the question again?
What's one thing you want students to remember about your school? It should be on the screen.
Oh, one thing you want to remember others. All right, so one thing I want you to remember about Ohio State is that you're going to have a blast when you're here. That's it. I mean, you're going to get a good education a lot of places, but I think what you leave with is more than an education when you leave Ohio State. It's definitely an experience.
Awesome, thank you. Auburn University.
Okay, one thing that I want you to remember about Auburn is, I talked about this in the presentation, but it's my favorite thing about Auburn is that we are the Auburn family. And that is something that lasts well beyond just being a student in Auburn, but throughout your whole life, will always be a part of the Auburn family. Just having community with other Auburn students and Auburn people in general. A few years ago, we ranked #1 for colleges with the happiest students. And I think that just kind of goes into that same Auburn people just really, really loving Auburn, loving their experience. And so that's what I want people to remember about it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Clemson University.
Yeah, if you could remember one thing about Clemson, something that I love about our university is I think they're finding that perfect balance between progression and tradition. We want to make sure our students are getting the best education possible and state-of-the-art facilities, but sticking true to the traditions that make Clemson the great, fun, memorable place that it is.
Fantastic. Thank you. University of Maryland.
There's so many different things, but I will share your childhood could have been influenced by a Terp. So Jim Henson, creator of The Muppets, is a Maryland alum. Same thing with the author and illustrator of Diary of a Wimpy Kid. So some pretty neat facts right there for you. Hopefully some subliminal messages to get you to apply to become a Terp.
Awesome. Thank you. Penn State University.
Absolutely love that series. I like the movies better than the books, but either way. So I think if you want to remember one thing about Penn State, it's that you're going to get the same education no matter which campus you start and end at. So a lot of students don't realize that if you don't go to University Park, you're still going to have just as many options no matter which campus. So it's a good thing to remember.
Awesome. Thank you. University of Central Florida.
With being such a large institution, having over 72,000 students, we have a lot of different opportunities inside the classroom and outside the classroom through internships, job opportunities. So keep that in mind when you're looking for an institution. We do have a lot of opportunities for students.
Awesome. Thank you all so much. My attendees, you heard it here first. These are the experts. They gave you some absolutely amazing advice, information, as well as that one fun fact that they want you to remember about their university. So my attendees, thank you all so much for joining. My panelists and presenters, you've been a pleasure. So thank you so much for being here and presenting. Remember, you all, after you close out the window, the words "very quick" are literally on the screen. So it will be a very quick 5-question survey, but please give us some feedback. We really do appreciate it. Remember, this is part 1. Part 2 is tomorrow. So one out of many college presentations that are offered. So check out the website and sign up for tomorrow's session as well. Remember, if you want to relive the fun, that recording is going to be available at strivescan.com/Central Florida. All right, y'all. Well, again, thank you so much and have a great night. Bye, everybody.